It's Absolute Radio. I'm Adrian Hyatt. Now, a band that's regularly voted the best live act in the world are back. That's Muse, of course, and they've announced two new dates. Next September, they're going to be playing the Lancashire Cricket Ground in Manchester on the 4th, and then a week later on the 11th, they're going to be playing Wembley Stadium in London. Today, I'm speaking with Dom, of course, the drummer from Muse. Dom, thanks very much for joining us. First of all, I just want to ask you about Wembley. For a lot of people, that really stands out as sort of the high point of your career so far, really, back in 2007 when you played those incredible gigs. You guys excited about going back?
We can't wait to go back to Wembley. Yeah, when we played there in 2007, it was amazing. It felt like the best we've ever done. It felt like such a real high point, I suppose, in our time as a band to date. So it's an amazing venue, and we're certainly really looking forward to going back. It should be pretty spectacular again, I think.
I mean, it was such an amazing night. I was there on, I think, the first night it was, and it was such a great atmosphere and such a great show. I mean, do you think that puts more pressure on you to pull out something even more amazing next September?
Well, I think, what the show we did last time there at Wembley was, it was certainly pretty special, and we really felt like we pushed the boat out, but, we'll have to just do the same again, It's hard to always try and better yourself all the time. I think you just have to, do something slightly different and, move in a slightly different direction. But, we'll see what happens, but it's definitely going to be, as good as or better. I'm pretty sure of that.
Obviously, The Resistance has done really well, and there's some great tracks on there. There's very theatrical stuff on there. Do you think that the sort of shows you're playing now, how are they progressing? How are they changing from the way they were even a few years ago, do you think?
Well, yeah, I think the show we're doing right now on our arena tour is very different from anything we've done before, and it's, I suppose, slightly more conceptual in the set and the kind of video content that's actually being shown on all the screens, because we're kind of almost trapped in these three huge towers that are almost quite very utilitarian prison-looking buildings, and it kind of relates a little bit to some of the influence from the book 1984, which had on some of the lyrics on the album. So it's I suppose in some ways it's becoming more theatrical, and I think we certainly hope to do something more like that in the future. And again, with these big gigs as well, I'm sure we'll be doing something pretty crazy and out there. One thing that we really loved about the Wembley shows last year was when we had these people floating on balloons, and they came out and did all these kind of acrobatic moves rather over the crowd. And that was a really good moment because it kind of seemed to divert the attention away from the band. So we loved that. So that was quite an inspiring thing to do. And I don't think we'll do the same thing as that, but something, in the same kind of area might be a good thing to do next time.
I remember it was those women sort of spinning underneath the orbs, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
From a drumming point of view, is it going to be some sort of huge big platform high above the sky or something, or how's that going to work? Do you know?
I'm always up for having a bit of a fancy drum riser. I mean, right now I'm playing kind of 3 meters above the stage, so with the stage I'm kind of 5 meters high in the air, so it's pretty scary, and it spins around and stuff like that. So it's getting slightly more adventurous. It's not quite like Tommy Lee flying around the stadium on wires yet, but we'll have to see. Maybe that'll happen in the future. But yeah, I'm sure I'm going to be elevated in some way.
Now, there's so much for you guys to choose from when you're putting your set together these days, I'm imagining. I mean, obviously, the bulk of it's going to be from the current album, but, I mean, is it difficult to choose exactly what you're going to do? Obviously, there's a lot of audience favourites that you're going to have to play as well, I guess, but how hard is it to choose what to pick?
Yeah, it's definitely getting more difficult to choose the set list these days, because it's, this is our 5th album now, and right now we're playing for about an hour and 45 minutes, which is, pretty lengthy as far as a rock gig goes, and there's still so many songs that we're not playing, so it's pretty tough, really. I mean, we've just right now we've just started our tour, so we're just kind of getting into the swing of things, but I think we've just got to vary the setup as much as possible, really, because you can't forget how to play the old songs. But I imagine next year it's we'll be doing more and probably playing for a little bit longer as well in the bigger shows, but it's just about keeping it fresh and keeping all the songs kind of mixed up and playing as much as you can, really. But normally it's just a pretty clean cross-section of all the albums.
Can you give me a favourite track from the new album that you really enjoy playing, and maybe a favourite track just out of all of the stuff you play that you really enjoy?
Drumming-wise, some of my favourite tracks to play are, off the new album, I think right now I'm really enjoying Resistance, which is the second track off the new album. That's just feels pretty good to play, and it's definitely pretty rocking. Favourite tracks out of of all time. I'm not really sure. Let's see. Stockholm Syndrome off our third album, Absolution, is pretty good because it's really kind of like hectic and relentless throughout the whole song, and it's definitely one where I get a bit of a stinking sweat on throughout that track. So yeah, maybe that one.
Definitely, it lets you go completely mental on that one. Brilliant.
Exactly, yeah.
Great stuff, Dom. Thanks very much. Appreciate your time.
All right.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Now, those tickets I expect are going to sell pretty fast. They go on sale on Friday, the 20th of November at 9 a.m. I'm going to try and be one of the first people in the queue to get them. It's Absolute Radio. Thanks very much for listening.